Sarah is magic. I had the pleasure of meeting this incredible woman last year at an event, and I just knew, like, we'd be working together, but we'd been in each other's worlds. That was mainly the thing. I was like, the way that you are, what you embody, like, I see that in myself, but I'm also like, I see like women behind you, and not in a way of like, I'm the leader, but like this army of people that are like waiting to have your work. And honestly, I mean, I've been saying this like every single night, like, girl, you are the woman, you're gonna change the fucking industry. But you know, you are obviously an everything, a practitioner, a facilitator, a leader, everything. But Sambaddha has been the practice that you've birthed. Somatics, you've done everything in yoga, in so many ways of movement and healing and embodying. What is Sambaddha, and what is the greater mission with this space?
Beautiful question, and it's been such an evolution. So first of all, I'll start with how that word came to me, and it just came through what I really needed, and that was the depth of connection, and it's also what I see when I'm just in human beings. Like we miss that depth, we miss that connection, and Sambaddha means connection in Sanskrit.
Yes.
So that's originally where the name came from. And the name came for me, and I didn't even know what it was at that time. I knew it was first of all going to be a practice. It then ended up being a studio in Doha that then shut down. I mean, it was powerful because it was a really liberating studio for a lot of women out there. So I feel it was a stepping stone. And then when COVID hit and the studio shut down, it turned into a practice for me.
Yeah.
So it ended up being, I work with the elements a lot, like, because I work quite shamanically too, and I've always worked with the elements, and there's two sides of the same coin here, where you've got elements when you think about energy centers and the chakras, and then you have like the elements in Chinese medicine. And what I've done is I've kind of brought them in and interlinked them. And I realised what was missing from the industry. I came from dance, left dance, to fitness, to dance fitness, to yoga, and then I've landed in the somatic space, but not, I wouldn't say the somatic space is what you kind of know it to be maybe right now, and I also think it's the next kind of buzzword right now. We had like breath work that went crazy, and it's the next buzzword.
Well, even myself, like I said to you recently, you know, there was a space where I was like, oh yeah, I want to learn more about somatics, and everything that I was coming across was just like, meh. It just didn't feel, yeah, it has depth because of what it does for us, right? So like on the surface level, it sounds great, but the people behind it, I was like, I don't feel it. And I wouldn't even have to know that you do somatics, and I know that it's there. Like the feeling that you can shift anyone, and whether that's through nervous system regulation or pure like returning home to their bodies or expression, like I know that you can gift that. So what has been something that's been like itching in you that's maybe that we call disruption to the industry, that you are like, I'm ready to speak on this, I'm ready to do something different in this space because it's not held, it's not safe, it's not XXX. What does that look like for you? What's your like your verbal space on this?
So for instance, the way that I see Sambaddha, I know it's going to evolve, and I just put it out there without even like a full plan, because I know that the spaces that I hold are really, really deep and very, very anchored. It is a journey through the elements, but at the same time, the certification gives you so many tools. And what I am finding in the industry is the spaces, it just still feels very surface. The difference now with how I work with somatics is you either find people doing somatics and it's just body work, right? We're just working into the body, which is really, really powerful. I feel like this is really powerful. But I bring in a slightly different element that when I bring you into the body, we also then inquire into the mind too, because we have so many blind spots, and the blind spot we can't even see that it's there. And we do have blind spots. And the deeper we drop into the body, we can start to discover some of these blind spots. Now, I feel like with somatics, it feels sometimes we're working with the nervous system, so we have to, of course, work tenderly with some people, because I work trauma-informed. But I think in these spaces, when we're holding these spaces, we also have to realise that when we're holding clients as well, we can fall into our own stories and our own, we spoke about this the other day, of sometimes we get into this industry to help other people, and we come from that place of, I can save you.
Right.
Or we can fall into, situations where you've got people latching onto you and they're like, save me, save me.
Yeah.
I want this space to be really empowering. That people then have these tools that they can actually drop into the body when they're working through something. Because as we know, nothing ever stays the same in life. Nothing. We're always, always, always evolving. And I think we want to think that things are going to stay, because there's part of that that's like safety and comfortability. But that's not life. And I think when we start to drop into the body and start to really understand the states of our nervous system that feel really familiar, that are actually not serving us and actually probably quite toxic. We don't even realise that we're in those states. So it's just when we start to drop into the body and then start to really inquire the mind, we can expand our own awareness. And the more,
what do you think, why do you think it's a buzzword then? Because obviously, if everyone's using it, then there's obviously deep need for this in the space, whether we call it the coaching space or just the spiritual space. There's need for us to mind-body inquiry, all of that. So why do we think there's a buzz around it? Is it just because, do you think that's a selling point? Do you think it's just something that people are aware that this space is needed, but I actually can't quite hold it, but I'll just use it as a way to get people, what do you think's happening there?
It's a bit like breath work. I mean, the thing is, breath work, when you think about it going from yogic terms, pranayama and breath, and I think it's just it's like a next trend. And we all know, as humans, we follow the next trend. So I just think what's happened is it's just kind of that word has started to buzz, and then we're just in the next trend. And as you know, there's smoke and mirrors everywhere, and people will then just latch onto the next trend, and I'm seeing now people just adding and putting that name in front of whatever they're doing. So now, I teach some dance classes, or I teach ecstatic dance, and they're just putting out somatic dance, without understanding the depth of holding that space. Because, space holding, you're holding energy. It's not light work. And if you've not done that, if you're not anchored into your body, you are not able to hold other people. It's energy.
So a bit of a charged question, I guess. For this next space to take off, we said Sambaddha's going to be the leading space in the industry. What can you feel in yourself shifting? What can you feel is landing for you, is happening internally? You're because there's been a million evolvements. It's just in you telling me your story and what's had to happen and all the spaces and industries you've been in. That's great, but right now, what's that shift looking like, or even feeling like?
There's a whole recalibration happening. I think I've definitely sat on Sambaddha for so long. I should have brought this out a long, long time ago. But again, as you all know, when we start to step fully into our power and our purpose, it's the paradox is everything that we really want in life will be the biggest threat to our survival mechanism. And there will be part of us that will be no, stay safe. So I feel like the more I'm stepping into my truth and into actually now me, because I've run trainings for everyone else. I'm always being asked to do this.
Let's just quickly talk about that. She's literally been on a million stages already this year, being flown around here, there, and everywhere. You are incredible. The other day, she just finished one space, and then she was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm flying to Zanzibar, and I'm doing another." And I'm like, "You have been doing it. You are literally the embodiment of wisdom and truth and fullness in the space that you're in." I see you. I really know that everyone is around your energy, and they're like, "Whoa, this is Sarah." So, reclamation, that's a huge word for you at the minute. what now is happening that's going to change into this space that you're about to not only birth but like blow the fuck up with?
Yeah. Well, reclamation's been a big part of my journey, because the more I step into me creating Sambaddha and now putting it out there, I'm realizing how much I've been giving my power away to so many others, because I've not been wanting to own my creation. So that's why reclamation has been coming in so much about, Sarah, like, you are here to disrupt. You've never wanted to conform. Like, I've never been able to conform. There's always something inside me, you know, no, it's not meant to be done that way. And how much that we learn to conform, but how much is tied into our nervous system and safety. So the more I'm kind of creating Sambaddha, the more I'm being met by the depth of my own wounds, and I'm realizing how much I am reclaiming my power. But in that reclamation, there's so much shedding that's happening. And I always feel, when I see reclamation, I see snakes and like this shedding. And I mean, in shamanic culture, the snake, the serpent, represents fire and this transmutation of like burning the stuff that is not ours to hold, and how much that we're holding, not just from our own experience of being brought up, but we take on our experiences of our parents, and it goes down the whole like generational line. And I feel like that's my reclamation, of realizing that some of these things of me not standing in my own power is not even just mine.
No, but it gets to impact every generation before you and after you, when you say, okay, it's time. And then just around this incredible conversation around Sambaddha, your work, your legacy that's coming up, getting pussy paid, met with that sounds like, oh my god, yay, but it's like, actually no, that money is something, it does something for us in our cycles and generations. So what does getting pussy paid mean?
Shedding the shame around how much shame we hold around money.
Yeah.
That is something, like, I can feel the emotion come up in me now. That is something that I can feel is held very deeply in my family line. Like, yeah. And I think there's shame around the word pussy.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's interesting, because money can be such a mirror to intimacy. Like, we really struggle to be seen. Yeah. But the paradox again is, we so want to be seen, but then we're seen and we're like, and I feel our relationship with money has so much, there's so much intertwined in that. And I feel we are shifting, we are moving into a whole new paradigm of like making money, because we're coming from a different intention, because everything is always with intention. And I feel like what we witnessed in generations before us in terms of making money, it's always been from power, but not from, because there's two different types of power, greed, control. That actually, when you're anchored into your pussy as a woman, that's a different power. There's a softness, there's a rootedness, there's like a knowing, there's a remembering. And I think I said this when we did that live, like, I really see when women start to step more into their power, and I know this has been coming up for me a lot, around how much shame that I'm shedding, we will change the fucking world. Sorry. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
But I really do believe that, because when we can start to really expand our own awareness of the wounds that are coming up around this, around money, because also, I'm sure when we're making money, we can see us falling into these entrapments. And I think when we start to really make money from that rooted place, we're shifting, we're moving into a whole new paradigm. So yeah, it's powerful.
To a season, well, not a season, to a lifetime of women, and the right women. No, not the right women. The women, period, making money and just changing everything that was before us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. You're incredible. I can't wait to see where Sambaddha goes, because it's taken over the damn world.
It's going to take over the damn world. It's going to take over the damn world.